Why is a cop on the wrong side of the law in the small town of Waverly?
A Virginia State Police investigation claims that Captain Douglas Davis Jr. stole from the town of Waverly in the form of getting paid for hours that he did not work. But he sat down with 10 of your side's Andy Fox to tell us there are two sides to every story, and he wants you to hear his. Andy?
Nicole and Thomas, Douglas Davis Jr. was chief in Newsome's and worked for the Northampton County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina while he was working in Waverly. All three jobs at once. Davis only works in Waverly now, but these court documents here claim Davis was getting money he shouldn't have from the town of Waverly, that he got overtime pay working special enforcement he should not have received. That's what state police say. This is what Douglas Davis Jr. says.
I feel like I was set up. I really do.
Waverly Police Captain Douglas Davis Jr. says he was set up by his former police chief, Travis Christian. According to these court documents, Christian initiated a complaint against Douglas to state police.
You know, retribution against me. I thought it was retaliation.
Davis says his troubles started after he filed this complaint against Christian to the Waverly Town Council. Court papers show state police checked Davis's timesheets from his three jobs and cell phone activity to show he was not in Waverly when he says he was.
Now, working three jobs, hindsight, yeah, I probably shouldn't have, took him up on that offer when he asked me.
Davis says that offer from Chief Christian changed his status on timesheets, like this one, from hourly to salary, and he says made his timesheet reporting confusing. Davis says he was not to take more than 8 hours in a day. If he worked more than that, he was to assign those hours to another day, which sometimes made it appear he worked more than 24 hours in a day among his three jobs, which is another charge made by state police.
I was instructed to put those times down, and it may show that I may have been in Waverly when actually I wasn't, but that's what I was instructed by the chief. He said I didn't have to sign off and on the radio. He said as well, he said you don't have to worry about your time. He said if you work over, you're not going to be compensated for it. He said, but if you don't work your 40 hours, you still get paid.
Davis brought his timesheet and employment status concerns to former Mayor Walter Mason during a meeting at Town Hall months before the state police began its investigation. That meeting was recorded, and on the tape you can hear Mason tell Davis he is an hourly worker.
Who sets it whether I'm hourly or...
I'm doing it.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Right, I'm doing it. I'm telling you, you're hourly.
Okay.
That is contrary to what Davis says Chief Christian told him, that he was a salaried employee. And that makes a big difference on how hours are recorded. Davis says that confusion led to the state police investigation.
He's whited out several timesheets.
Along with the practice to white out timesheets, changing the hours worked. Davis thinks Chief Christian altered some of his timesheets that are now part of the state police investigation. And Davis took that concern to Mason, too. We confronted Mason about that.
You do acknowledge that you did talk with the former chief and tell him not to white out the timesheets.
I have to think about that.
No,
I have to think about
know.
that. No.
You know.
Well,
you know.
As I said,
yes or no?
Mason knows that's true. He's on the tape telling police officers that he told Chief Christian not to do it.
And once I saw he did that, I called him in my office and I told him, hey, Chief, you can't do that. You got to cross it out and initial. And I also told him if he got a problem with y'all time sheets, call you in, talk to you, cross it out, initial.
Well, you can. I felt that he shouldn't have been whiting out anything. Just cross it out and sign it.
This is a big issue for Davis because he thinks this practice to white out timesheets undermines the case against him.
And do you think your timesheets were altered after the fact and before the state police investigation?
Yes, sir, because nobody has the original. Nobody knows what the originals are on any of the timesheets. Everything is photocopied.
What can you tell me about the policy of whiting out hours?
Well, I can't go. I don't want to go into detail all of that.
Douglas Davis's life is law enforcement. Conviction of any of the 5 felonies he now faces would end that career immediately.
I just got faith that the legal system and the justice system will, will go through the course and everything will be seen to, for what it actually is.
Now, we called Travis Christian to get his side of the story. He is now working for the Petersburg and Virginia Union University Police Departments. He refused to do an interview, but told me over the phone, "I have no comment. It's the Commonwealth's case. The investigation was led by the Virginia State Police, and I want to protect the Commonwealth's case as well as the rights of Mr. Davis. I would refer any questions to Commonwealth's attorney, Jay Paul." The special prosecutor, Jay Paul, would not return our phone calls for comment. The Virginia State Police also refused to say anything more than a news release stating the charges against Douglas Davis. Davis will be in court on November 21st for his arraignment and setting his trial date. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.